Hey, so you've probably heard a lot of people talk about what branding is or what a brand is, and those are two different words. Uh, Brand is really your reputation, and I like what Marty Niemeyer has to say about it. He says that a brand is the gut feeling that a person has about your company, about your business. I think that's right. Um, the logo, the messaging, all of that stuff, that's branding. A brand doesn't live in your head, it lives in your customer's head. It lives in the heads of people in the market. So how do you influence that? Well, you influence that through branding, but you really influence that through everything that your company does. So when I talk about branding and I talk about customer experience, when you think about it that way, you see how those two things are married together. And one of the things that it takes to build a brand, to build an idea in somebody's mind, it takes both. It takes intentional work through branding, and it takes you doing the work of providing a great product and service. I'm generally in the business of helping people do the intentional work of branding. So, when I consult with people, when people work with us here at Podium Studios, that's what we're doing. We're trying to help somebody to establish a brand by intentionally putting out a consistent message, intentionally pulling out high quality, consistent look, etc. And that can't replace the other stuff, right? You want your branding to match what you're doing with your actual product and service experience. But when you're doing your branding, that affects perception. It affects how people are going to think about your product and service. And that's why branding is actually important. That's why everything that you do with regards to the way that your business presents itself is important, because you are either setting yourself up to make things easier for sales, for customer service, for people to go into a product experience with a more favorable view of you, or you're setting them up to come in skeptical. And we all know that when people are looking for a problem, that they're generally going to find it. Nobody's perfect. Their level of grace that they're going to have with you can be affected by how good your branding is. And so that's why I encourage everybody, seriously, you have to take that seriously. You have to be able to look at that and say, this is just as much a product as everything else that we're doing, because this tells people whether or not we care. If you are making sure that the things that you're putting out with your marketing, with your collateral, with even something as simple as how your logo looks on a uniform, how well are the uniforms designed, what does your sign look like outside, how does your website look? All of those things tell somebody whether or not you care, and they're making a judgment call about how much you care about what they're actually going to buy from you by how much you care about all of the other things that they encountered before they ever decided to buy from you. Don't make life harder for sales and everybody else in your business by having a crappy brand. One of the things that we used to say, and one of my favorite design teams I've ever worked on, is bad design is rude. And that goes into everything that you're doing. So if you are putting something out there in the world, treat it like your product. Make sure that it's awesome, and people will assume, either rightly or incorrectly, that everything else that you do is that good. That's the power of branding. Talk to you next time.